We didn't come over here to buy anything like this, did we?
No, this is a little bit bigger than we thought.
Yeah.
I suppose it was almost love at first sight.
So in 2020, we purchased Chateau de Montmagny for €180,000, and it consisted of the main chateau with 14 rooms, an ancient tower, various outbuildings, the piggeries, stables, the old tower ruins, the coaching house, and the ancient relais de poste.
We looked at 46 properties and we'd kind of given up hope to finding the right one, and we sat in the car and we looked up at that tower, didn't we?
Oh, that was it.
And it was a revelation, and that moment of dread where you think, this is the one, but this is going to be a lot of work.
Yeah.
So with just £80,000 budget and all of the rooms in disrepair, no electricity, no water, and us having no previous experience, it was time for us to start learning a lot of new skills. We had a lot of hard work ahead of us.
Every day we seem to uncover something new, don't we?
Yeah.
And
it really is.
It's just so exciting to think of what could possibly be with this place.
So by the end of our £80,000 budget, and 3 years in, we'd completed 3 self-contained apartments to be able to let to the public. The communal areas like the boot room, the tower and hallways, the downstairs salon area and petty restaurant. All of the exteriors, the summer kitchen, the outside eating area.
Most people, when we first arrived here and we said that we had £80,000 to spend on renovation just for the first phase, said to us, you will never do it.
I think we turned a lot of heads, and I think people were not eating their words, but were sort of, hang on a minute, yeah.
So we're now into 2023, and with phase 1 complete, we're now on to the next era, phase 2. And we're currently working on the piggeries and stables, transforming it from a ruin into a gîte for me and Ted to live and finally get out of the tent.
So another morning begins with the old cement mixer going again. It's time to do the back wall. I'm mixing up for Lesa, who'll be doing the mortaring, and in the meantime I'll be putting my glass in the windows and making doors. So we've got 32 square metres of wall to do in the back there. So that's quite a lot. Hopefully we've got enough sand. I don't know if we've got enough lime, but that's all got to be mortared, and then it gives me a chance to put the panelling in. We went and found some old doors, like we did up in the CDA, to do for the panelling. They're not very high, not very wide, but we can make some plinth at the bottom, which will be interesting. But the wall needs to be mortared before I can start the panelling. I think we're about ready.
I'd love to know how much square footage we have mortared in this entire place so far. It'd be quite interesting to try and work it out, wouldn't it? So today, hopefully, is the final bit of mortaring inside the building. Well, it won't just be today, it'll be this week, because I think There's 32 square metres on this side, but I've got a few other bits to complete, which is where the wiring's going in on the other side. And then that'll be the entire inside done. Yay! So we have 3 days without any visitors, any guests. Yeah, let's crack on with this wall and see what we can do. Now this is an external wall that we're doing today, and there's a lot of big gaps, so I need to make sure I've got lots of little pieces of stone available that I can put into the big gaps. Now this bottom part, I'm going to shove as much mortar in as I can. It doesn't need to look pretty, it's going to be covered up with panelling. Now a lot of people will say, well, why bother mortaring it in the first place? Mortar isn't there just for aesthetics, it is there for a reason. Now the way these walls were built is with 3 layers. External layer, internal layer, and your middle section. Now, both of the outside layers were built with these huge pieces of stone at the bottom to stabilise it. They get smaller as they go up. They're still rather large. But that was to stabilise the outside walls. And then inside, they would have then put as much clay, muck, lime, hair, animal hair, straw, to be able to stabilise the wall completely. And it would have 3 layers that would also act as an insulation for the walls. And then on the external parts, they would have then, in the gaps between the stones, as they built it up, put again clay, muck, lime, straw, whatever they could to be able to secure the stones in place, but also stop them from bashing against each other. Now, the best way I can explain it is if you think of your knees, elbows, hips, the way they work is you've got 2 bones. You've got your ball joint and your hip joint. Sorry, I'm not a doctor, I'm not technically, but you've got your 2 joints that go like this, and you've got your cartilage in the middle that stops them rubbing against each other as they move. That's when you start to have problems, is when your cartilage wears away and your bone goes on bone and it starts to wear away the bone. Exactly the same thing happens with this wall. Over centuries, the clay and the muck and anything that was in the middle of the stones when they were laid on top of each other has just disintegrated to dust and is gone. So there's nothing stopping these stones. And then what happens over time, if you don't replace that, the stones fall on top of each other. They drop and drop and drop until you get to a point where there's so much weight that the bottom stones then start to crack. They wear away and just start to crack. So that's why it's really important to reinstate the lime mortar that we're putting in here. One, it will stop the stones from falling. It's a flexible product, so as the wall moves, that moves with it. And it also absorbs moisture, so any moisture that's in the ground, in the walls, will be absorbed by the lime mortar. And that's why it's so important to be able to reinstate it before we put the panelling on top of it. Above there, we're just going to have the exposed stone. I love the wall that we did in the Chambre d'Armes room. I think it's absolutely stunning. As you walk in there, I love that wall. And I want my own wall like that. We don't stay in that room. We've never stayed in that room. And yeah, when I go in there, I'm a little bit jealous of our guests from staying in that room because I really, really love it. So I want to redo that wall here. So we've got our own wall like that because obviously this is where we're going to be living for quite some time. So yeah, better crack on because there's a lot of it to do. what I found. It's a little bird's nest. 3 little eggs. Now I'm pretty sure these aren't from this year, that they've been left here another, sort of last year or something, because there's no way birds would be nesting in here with the amount of work that's going on. Oh, it's 4 little eggs, but what a shame. However, I'm going to put it over the other side and carry on working, but isn't it fascinating the way they make their nests like this? It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, but a shame. 4 little eggs. Okay, bottom level's done. It's time to start on the top. This is where it becomes really frustrating because I only have 3 days a week to do renovation. And when you start a project like this and you really get going on it, you just want to continue. But now, sadly, I only have another couple of hours and I have to stop because I need to go shopping and start cooking for the restaurant for tomorrow. So this will have to wait to be finished next week, which is a real pain.
I think it looks absolutely beautiful. I really do. You know, once we've framed it with the panelling and the ceiling, it's going to look like, when you think about just what this place is like now. You know, before we've even done it, it's a big change from what it was. and you think about, we always say, don't we, that if we'd have come to this property and this part was like this, you'd have gone, oh wow, this is great, let's make this, you know, you'd instantly make it, well, we should make this into a, you know, you'd have wanted to make it into a sheet, I know. I'd have wanted to make it into a workshop.
When you did in the beginning, I was looking back at the videos when we first came and we did the tour around the place.
and we spoke about what areas we wanted for different things.
Yeah.
And I say in it, Ted wants this for his workshop.
Oh, I just think it would be stunning because you'd have had this area and that area as a workshop. It's brilliant, but I think it's going to be even better as our apartment.
So finally, after 6 full days on this wall, it's now finished completely. That means that every wall internally in this building has now been finished. Well, the piggeries side anyway. The stables is yet to be done, but that's later down the line. The main concern now is to finish this room so we have a bedroom. And with me finishing the walls, it means that Ted can now crack on with getting the windows and doors in. So come back on Thursday and see what Ted's been up to. See you then, everybody. Take care. Love to you all.
For both of us, this is a long haul project. We didn't come into this lightly, but we knew that we couldn't get it done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We know there is a time scale, and we are time sensitive in some ways, but we're in this for the long haul, aren't we?
We are.
If you would like to hitch a ride with us on this adventure, then please check out our Patreon page. For just €5 a month, you can help support our project, receive behind the scenes footage, uncut videos, and have Zoom chats with me and Ted. Be part of the Monmania family on our Patreon only Facebook page, or make a one-off donation via our PayPal page. All of the links are in the description. You will then know that your contribution helps to preserve a piece of world history. Join us next time.